First of all, I would like to say thank you very much to Sophie Binat and colleagues for inviting me to come to see you this afternoon. I have been to INSA Rouen several times in the past, but not since the new generation of the International Office. Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me. The reason I'm here is because there is a long history of successful collaboration between my university in the UK, Cranfield, and your school here in Rouen. My name is Simon MEDANEY and I am responsible for Cranfield's European Partnership Programme, which is what I'm going to talk to you about this afternoon. I'm going to talk for about 20 minutes. Then I would like to show you how to navigate the Cranfield website, and of course I will be very happy to try to answer your questions. First of all, am I speaking too quickly? Okay. My English is not bad. Si vous avez des questions à me poser et vous préférez me les poser en français, n'hésitez pas. Okay? Je ferai mon mieux pour comprendre. But first of all, let me give you a geography lesson. Cranfield, the first thing you need to know about Cranfield is that Cranfield is a village. Compared to Cranfield, this part of Rouen is a métropole. We are about 1 hour north of London, and halfway Cambridge, as you can see, is 1 hour to the west. Oxford is 1 hour to the east, so about 1 hour. Very important for most people is that Cranfield is half an hour from London Luton Airport, and London Luton Airport is the UK base for EasyJet. Unfortunately, EasyJet does not fly to Rouen yet. On verra. But I live, Cranfield is 10 kilometres from the city of Milton Keynes and 20 kilometres from the town of Bedford, which is where I live. And from Bedford, there is a fast train to London that takes 45 minutes, where you arrive at Londres St Pancras, St Pancras International, which is the terminus for Eurostar. So when I need to come to northern France, I take the Eurostar, Bedford, St Pancras, Paris Gare du Nord. It is a very easy, very good. Okay, so there's the geography lesson. Now, wait. Yes! Oh, sorry. Right. A few things that you need to know about Cranfield. Cranfield is an unusual institution in the UK in that it is the only postgraduate university in Britain. Postgraduate in British terms means that we do not have any undergraduate students. Undergraduate equals, in French terms, premier cycle. We only have Master of Science and doctoral studies, and we are the only British university like that. What that means is that all of our students have already completed an undergraduate program of study in another university before they come to us. All except the students from French École d'Ingénieurs, because you have not completed a program of study. When you come to Cranfield, you come to Cranfield as the final year of the cycle ingénieur, so Bac plus 4 is the entry point. The next thing that is unusual about Cranfield is that we have a very specific focus on science, technology, engineering and management. You can't come to Cranfield to study law or to study medicine or to study French. And we have very close links with industry. We have the highest percentage of industrial income of any British university. Because we have a very specific focus, we do a lot of work with industrial companies, some of which you may have heard of. This is an example of my English sense of humour. You may have heard of companies such as Airbus, which I think you call Airbus, but we call Airbus. And we work with Airbus, we work with Rolls-Royce, we work with Astrium. Do you know Astrium, the satellite company? And the European research base for the Japanese car company Nissan is next to the Cranfield campus. Very interesting. I have heard today that the chief executive of Nissan has been sacked. Very interesting. Yes, he's looking for a new job. Okay. Perhaps he had too many zeros in his pay packet. Shh. So we do lots of work with major industrial companies. The next thing you need to know is that we are not very British. That figure is actually wrong. This year, 47% of our students are British. The rest come from all over the world. And we usually have students from at least 100 different countries. 1,500 Master of Science students, and then, depending on the year, 400 to 500 doctoral and postdoctoral students. So very focused, specific, advanced, in a village, surrounded by fields, 10 kilometers from the nearest town. If you look at Cranfield on Google Earth, have any of you looked at Cranfield on Google Earth? Yes? Right. What color did you see?
Green.
Green. Why? Because Cranfield is surrounded by fields. At this time of the year, green, but sometimes a little white. And it's not the sheep, right? Okay, so Cranfield is a village. So it is a very different experience from your studies here in Rouen. So what do we offer? My job is I manage Cranfield's European Partnership Programme. This year there are 278 students at Cranfield, double degree students from across the European Union. And the largest group are the French. We have over 100 French students at Cranfield, all of them from École d'Ingénieurs. All of our agreements are with École d'Ingénieurs. We work with the Réseau INSA, but also with the Réseau Mines, the Réseau Central, and the Réseau Polytech. We only work with French engineering schools. Why? Because you're good. It's very simple. You suffer for your 2 années de prépa, which means you have very strong, what you would call the tronc commun. Your tronc commun is very strong, and it is an ideal preparation for Cranfield's focus, which is always applied science and engineering. That's why we work with École d'Ingénieurs. The second largest group are from Spain. We usually have about 80 Spanish students, primarily from the Universidades Politécnicas in Madrid, Barcelona, Catalunya, Valencia, but also we have a special agreement with the engineering school in the Basque Country in Bilbao, and they are good. So those are the largest groups. Why do they come? They come for what we call our double degree program, and it's really very simple. In the UK, students, does this work? Almost, but not quite. Never mind. Never mind. In the UK, students' undergraduate programs are 3 or 4 years. If they choose to continue after the undergraduate program, they become postgraduates and they come to Cranfield. In your case, you are part of a 5-year program of studies leading to the Diplôme d'Ingénieur. What we offer you is the possibility of combining year 5 of the Diplôme d'Ingénieur, so the 3rd and final year of the Cycle Ingénieur, with the Cranfield Master of Science. You will be registered in both universities at the same time. And our agreement with INSA Rouen is very simple. INSA Rouen recognizes successful completion of the Cranfield Master of Science for the validation for the award of your Diplôme d'Ingénieur. Very simple. There are 3 criteria for selection. The first and most important criterion is you must be recommended to Cranfield by INSA Rouen. Sometime in the new year, I will receive an email from the international office here. Maybe it will be you, Sophie. Bonjour Simon, nous avons X candidats pour vous cette année. Les noms sont les suivants. So she will send me a list of the names of the students and the programs that you have selected. That's enough for us. If you are selected by INSA Rouen, that's good enough for us. Number 1 criterion, we would normally expect the selected students to come from the top quartile of your year group, so the top 25%. That's the first criterion. The second criterion is competence in English. There are a number of ways of judging your competence in English. The most popular exam for French École d'Ingénieur is a very bad test, but it's cheap, and it's called the TOEIC. Vous avez passé le TOEIC? Pas encore. C'est nul. Hein? C'est nul, mais c'est reconnu par la CTI. C'est très important. You will need a minimum TOEIC score of 800. But for students who are from not European Union countries, so students who need a visa to enter the UK visa service does not recognize the TOEIC test. You will need to take either a TOEFL test or the Cambridge Certificate of Advanced English or the British Council IELTS test. So the standard for the TOEIC is 800, the others are similar. That's not difficult. So that's the second criterion, competence in English. The third criterion is motivation. The Cranfield application process is entirely online. One of the most important things in the online application is what we call a supporting statement, what you would call une lettre de motivation, where you explain why you have selected the program that you have selected and how that program will help you with your career development aspirations. Please, please, please don't write, I want to come to Cranfield to improve my English. Because the reaction of my course director colleagues when they see things like that is go to a language school, right? Another thing, please, please, please don't write, and this happened last year, don't write, I want to come to Cranfield because it's near London and I have friends in London. It's true, n'importe quoi. Right? Okay. So that happened last year. What you need to do is to say, I have selected this program because it will be an interesting development on my studies here at INSA Rouen, and I would like to specialize in this field of study, and I have seen that Professor Harris has published in this and this area, and it's an area I'm interested in. Show that you know what you're talking about, okay? Of course your English will improve, and of course you can go to London sometimes. Right? I'm from London, but I no longer live in London. So those are the three criteria. Recommendation, competence in English, and motivation. Is that okay? Right. So what's involved? The Cranfield Master of Science, very simply, is a lot of work. It is a 46-week year. Teaching begins on the first Monday in October, and the final individual project presentations take place in the first 2 weeks in September. It's a 46-week year. That's how we can offer a Master of Science in 1 year, because for us a year means a year. Whereas in continental Europe, a year usually means something like 30 weeks. So you come to us, you work hard. Very simple. Okay, and the year is divided into 3 parts. We teach more or less from the beginning of October to the end of February, beginning of March. And it is a modular program in 2-week blocks. Here you will study a number of courses for the first semester, and at the end of the semester you will have a test of some sort. That is not what we do. Our programs are divided into modular blocks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and at the end of each 2-week block you will have some kind of assessment. It could be a laboratory practical exercise, it could be an oral presentation, it could be a sit-down test, it could be a case study report, etc. Different forms of assessment for the modular program. So that goes on from October to the end of February, beginning of March. Then during March and April, most programs will have group projects where 6 or 7 students from a number of different programs will work under Cranfield academic supervision on industrial consultancy projects for our major industrial partners. You will need to go and visit the partner, collect data, prepare your report, and make the report to the industrial partner. Interesting. Then, from the end of the end of April, beginning of May, you will start work on your individual research project. 4 months. The individual research projects are allocated as follows. Early in the new year, in January, our course directors will send to all of the students on their program details of the individual research projects for the year. Details of the project specification, industrial collaborators, who the Cranfield supervisors will be, and they ask you, look at these, go and talk to the supervisors, and please let us have, by the end of the month, your first choice and your second choice selection of individual research project. We cannot guarantee that every student will be given their first or second choice project, but we try very hard. And in many cases, when we have a number of students who are interested in the same area, we will go back to our industrial partners and say, actually, this year we've got 3 students who are interested in this area of work. Could we expand our specification to include 3 projects instead of 1? And that happens. And the individual research projects, the industrial projects, are very important because in many cases those individual projects lead to the offer of a job. And one of the reasons why people come to study at Cranfield is because they get good jobs. Surprise, surprise, yeah? Okay, so that's the final part of the year. Beginning of September, the individual project presentations, and you're finished. Don't make any plans at all before the end of September. Okay? Some students think they can go on holiday. No chance, you need to wait. Right. So that's the standard structure. There is one slightly different model, which is for the computation programs. They don't do group projects, they have more teaching. Many of the computation modules are half modules, lots of different elements, different bits of software engineering that they need to do in order to complete everything in the year. But all of the programs are structured to comprise 2,000 hours of study. Either the standard format 40-20-40 or the computation programs 50-50. 2,000 hours study, 46 weeks. Do the arithmetic. We expect you to focus on your studies for about 40 hours a week. Last month when I was in Lyon, one student said to me, "Vous voulez dire qu'on aura 40 heures de cours par semaine pendant 46 semaines, monsieur?" And I said, your arithmetic is very good, but your understanding is wrong. Right? No, you will never have 40 hours of classes in a week. You will have lots of weeks with no classes at all, but lots of work to do. Lots of case studies, group projects, project presentations, preparation, etc. So you need to average about 40 hours a week study. I would be very surprised if you have more than 2 or 3 weeks with as many as 20 hours of classes. But a lot of work. And a lot of the work at Cranfield takes place outside the classroom. Okay, so that gives you an idea. Now, what do people... Oi! Oi! I'm going to use very advanced technology. Oh! Yes. Okay. So, Cranfield is not organized. We do not have a maths department or a physics department. Cranfield is organized thematically, and Cranfield programs are divided into those areas. First of all, aerospace and computation. Secondly, transport systems, which includes everything to do with automotive, as well as things like airport planning and air transport management. Then manufacturing and materials science, design, industrial design primarily, aspects of the water industry, energy and power. A fast-growing sector at Cranfield is to do with renewables, environment and agri-food, and finally the Cranfield School of Management. So we cover a wide range of programs. And when you look at the website, which we will do shortly, I hope I'll show you how to access that. Right. For next year, there are 4 new programs. A new program in robotics. This has come as a result of requests from a number of our European partners. They wanted Cranfield to offer something in the field of robotics, so that's what we're going to do. Another, an additional automotive program in motorsport mechatronics, in materials science with metal additives, and the last one is cars without drivers. Oh dear. At the moment, on the Cranfield campus, we are building a test road for autonomous cars. I hope it will have lots of flashing lights. I hope. So those 4 new programs will be launched next year. Okay, right, let's have a look. In recent years, INSA Rouen students have been interested in study at Cranfield in these areas. So the computation programs, thermal power, renewable energy engineering, advanced materials. This year we have an INSA Rouen student who is in the first ever Cranfield robotics group. So one of your colleagues has come to Cranfield this year for the robotics program. And aerospace computation. The origins of Cranfield are in aerospace, which is why the computation programs are linked to the aerospace group, but you don't have to be an aerospace person to come for the first programs on the list, the computation and software techniques program. They are linked there for Does it work? Does it work?
If you want to use a laser, you have to put this button.
Sophie. Trop avancé pour moi. Je suis un cœur simple. Did you like that, un cœur simple? Citation de Flaubert? No, never mind. Je suis à Rouen quand même. Okay, so those are what your colleagues have been interested in the past. Right, now...
It doesn't like you, actually.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Technology is not right. Okay, before I move on, and I've almost finished. Merci, Sophie. Before I finish, let me say, every year, at the end of August, my colleagues from the Student Services Department send an email to all of our students, and they say, could you please list the 3 things you liked most and the 3 things you liked least about your experience at Cranfield? The 3 things you liked most and the 3 things you liked least. Okay. Guess. Number 1 thing that people don't like about Cranfield. It's expensive. Number 1 thing that people don't like about Cranfield is the cost of living. The cost of living at Cranfield is this year about €900 per month for accommodation, food, social life and everything. About €900 per month. The second thing that people don't like about the cost of Cranfield is the cost of our programs. The average cost of a Cranfield program for 2019-20 will be about €10,000. But there are loans to help you pay for your studies, but also for your living costs. All of that information is on the website. The second thing that people don't like about Cranfield is that public transport in the UK, particularly from a French perspective, is much more expensive than it is in France. The reason for that is that your public transport is subsidised to a higher level than our public transport. But as a Cranfield student, I recommend that our students should live on the campus, and you can walk everywhere on the campus, so you don't need to spend a lot of money on public transport. But also, as a student, you can have a student card which gives you a 1/3, a 30% reduction in the cost of trains and coaches throughout the UK. The next thing that students don't like about Cranfield is our rural location. The favourite description of our students is to say Cranfield is in the middle of nowhere. There are advantages to being surrounded by fields in a village 10 kilometres from the nearest town when you are expected to work 40 hours a week for 46 weeks. It is a place that people come to because they are seriously interested in their studies. Now let's have a look at the positives. What people really like is that we have excellent teaching and learning facilities. We have industrial scale research facilities. We have laboratories which are sponsored by major industrial companies because they want to recruit Cranfield staff to go and work for them. The main university library is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you don't need to go to bed. Fantastic. You can reduce your accommodation costs. Even better. That's an example of my English sense of humour. Okay, the advantage of the fact that we are 9 kilometres from the nearest town means we do not have security problems. So if you want to go to the library at 1 o'clock in the morning, you can. We have CCTV on the campus and we have a security service, of course. Everybody has a photo ID. So if you are walking back from the library at midnight, you may meet one of the security people who'll say, hello, are you on your way home? Yeah, have you got your ID, please? Thanks very much, good night, right? And if it's raining, they may even give you a lift. There are advantages. All of our teaching materials are distributed through the university intranet, and every room in the student accommodation has a network connection. All of the teaching materials for all of the programs are available through the intranet. Useful. The next thing that people really like is living on the campus. Being part of an international community, so you will live with, study with, socialise with, play sports with, complain about the weather with people from all over the world. Is it really always as cold as this? Yes, you wait till February. Yeah. People like that because it's an interesting experience. That's why they come. Because what they want to be is to be part of our international community. In my experience, you will meet people, very, very strange collaborations. One of my favorites was we once had a student from Thailand, from the north of Thailand, which was tropical, who had an extremely good relationship with the first student we ever recruited from Iceland. Can you imagine that? Iceland and Thailand. And what were they both interested in? Football. Right, okay. Extraordinary. International collaborations. People come, they want to study with and socialise with and learn more about the way people do things in other countries. That's why they come. So think about it. Double degree students in the survey conducted by the Cranfield School of Management, double degree students get better jobs, faster career progression and higher salaries than single degree students. Think about it. Okay, thank you very much. Could I have vodka next time, please? Okay, thank you very much. What I would like to do now is to show you the Cranfield website, and while my wonderful technical advisor helps us to get that point, thank you very much, Sophie. I would be very happy to try to answer any questions about, about anything. Allez-y. À vous, si vous avez des questions à me poser. Yeah.
Sorry, you said about student loans, but actually when we have a double degree diploma and an agreement between INSA and Cranfield, a student doesn't have to pay the loans for the master degrees?
Oh yes, you do. Oh yes. There is one scholarship for 2019-20 for an INSA Rouen student, one. And that is for the... Yes, there is one 100% scholarship and one half scholarship in the sectors of computation. But for other students, you can apply and you are eligible to apply for Cranfield loans. Yes. Okay, thank you very much, Sophie. Next question.
Do you know what the Brexit will change?
Well, what a surprise. The Brexit question, yes. Not this. I can tell you that Mrs. May has not resigned yet today. Maybe I'm going back to the UK tomorrow, maybe by the time we're going to... Right. The Brexit situation at the moment is very simple. There will be no changes for next year. 1920 is okay. We don't know, and this is for all British universities, because university application, the application process is a long time in advance. The government agreed some time ago that for 1920 there will be no changes at all. So that's good news. What will happen after 1920? On verra. On verra. Thank you. Very helpful question. Thank you very much indeed. Next. Yeah.
Please, sir, I want to know why we can not study management.
You can. That is an INSA Rouen issue. Yes. You are Cranfield double degree students. You can apply to come to Cranfield to study what you are interested in on one condition. And the condition is that your home school approves. So, for example, I mentioned that we work with a number of networks of French schools. When I was in Lyon, I was talking to people from the Réseau Polytech and the Réseau Mines. And those students do apply to Cranfield to come to the Cranfield School of Management. It's a matter for your school, right? So you need to persuade the international office and your department if that's what you want to do. As far as we are concerned, yes, but it is a double degree program, and we cannot and we will not intervene in the internal politics of our partners. Okay, donc that's a question that you need to address to Sophie. There you are. Je vous fais un cadeau là. Hello. Yeah.
Is there any limits to the different programs?
Ah, is there a limit? That's a very good quota. You mean? When you say quota, when you say limit, do you mean in the number of students?
Yes, and the condition of the students.
Right, okay, limits, right, quotas. First of all, we do not operate a quota system. If you are good enough and INSA Rouen supports your application, we are interested. But our guideline to all of our partners is to say we would be uncomfortable if there were more than 2, maximum 3 students from the same partner institution interested in the same Cranfield program. Because we have had some unfortunate experiences with groups of students from the same partner who wanted to come to Cranfield for the same program, and in French, you would say, et ils ont fait bande à part. Donc, on se méfie de l'esprit du troupeau. Okay. So, if you're good enough, we're interested. But don't come with 6 friends to do the same thing. Okay, thank you. Next. Yeah.
I saw that aerospace program is linked with the computational program, but are there any any differences between the two? Because I'm not in informatics department, but I would like to study airplanes and aeronautics. So
right.
Where should I go?
Well, what you need to do is to go on the website and look in the aerospace theme. I said earlier when I showed you the list of the groups that aerospace, that computation is linked. This is for administrative purposes. There are a number of computational programs which are linked with the aerospace group for management. For example, there is a program in computational fluid dynamics, which is used both for aerospace students but also for automotive students, right? But the management of that is within the aerospace group. And there is a large program in computation and software engineering, which has nothing to do with aerospace, but is managed by the aerospace group. Okay.
So with CFD, just a complementary question: what are you using at Cranfield?
Okay. What I would suggest you do is what I'm now going to do now, which is to show you how to navigate the website. The website has very detailed specification of every program, every module of every program on in the university, and that's what you need to look at. So, and I'm going to look at that now. Okay. Okay, so let's start here. As you can see at the bottom of the screen here, you have the themes, yeah? So you can see, and you are eligible to apply for any Cranfield theme except defence and security. Cranfield has a satellite campus which is 140 kilometres west of Cranfield, which is the UK Defence Academy, where Cranfield delivers postgraduate and research programmes for the UK military. You are not eligible to apply to join the UK military yet. All right, so let's start. Okay, let me take, here we go, let's have a look. Let's click here, aerospace. All right, so you could, and this is the same for all of the themes. Right, so on the aerospace theme, you see how it's divided in sections, and what we're going to look at is courses, okay? So you go from the theme, courses. All right, so here we go. Aerospace postgraduate courses, and then you start to go down. And here we see, all of the aerospace courses. So aerospace vehicle design, different options, avionics, etc. Aerospace dynamics, autonomous vehicle dynamics, advanced lightweight structures, lots and lots, all right? So you just asked, let's look at the one you asked about, aerospace computation, right? So all of the programs on the website are organized in the same way. Okay, so here you see overview, course details, fees and funding, entry requirements, your career, information about aerospace computation. Go down. Overview, what I've already told you, the structure of the program. Who is it for? What sort of students come to do this? Why do people come and do this course? And it says, you can see that it shares some modules with computational fluid dynamics and the computation software techniques. Working with industry. And here you are, this is an interesting model, the teaching team. All right, So let's go through these. Laszlo, I said Cranfield is an international institution. Laszlo is from Hungary. Irene is from Greece. Carl Jenkins is from Wales. Oh, Peter is English. Right, there we are. Jotis is Greek. Zishan is from India. Antonis is Greek. And guess where Salvatore is from? Salvatore is Italian, right? So that is an example. Cranfield is an international institution. You will be taught in international groups. Okay, so there you will see. And then accreditation for professional recognition. In the French system, for those of you studying to become engineers, you will at one point want to be inscrit sur la charte des ingénieurs. In the British system, you become a chartered engineer through the Institution of Mechanical Engineers, etc. Our programs have professional recognition. Right, then the course details, how it is structured. I've already talked to you about the group project, the individual project and the assessment. Now, this is crucial. This is what you need to look at for your every program. Compulsory modules. And you will see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 compulsory modules. Everybody does everything on the program. But what you can do is to then look what exactly is included in a module called C++ programming. Click on there and there you have it, right? You can see who the module convener is, what the aim of the module is, and the syllabus, and what you are expected to be able to acquire in 2 weeks on that module. And that's the same for every module of every program in the university. So you can see exactly what is involved. I think that is the great strength of the Cranfield website. Because I am not an engineer. I can say to you there is a program called Advanced Materials. There is also a program called Aerospace Materials. There is another program called Aerospace Manufacturing. And you can say, what's the difference? And I'll say, let's look at the website. Okay? And you can see the detailed specification of everything. I would strongly advise you to have a very good detailed look at all of that. Okay? And the structure is the same across every theme. I think that is the most useful piece of information I've given you this afternoon, apart from my wonderful reference to Flaubert, but that's another conversation. Okay. I'm blinded by the light.
Just a question. So it means that for 2 weeks, the students will have the same issue topic?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The modules are 2 weeks. And this is the module on C++. The course leader, Irene Mulutsas, will be teaching that program with help from colleagues.
So there won't be any other classes?
Just that.
Okay.
2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. This is a very different way of organizing an academic program to what you may be used to. The great advantage for us is that we can, all of my academic colleagues have 3 jobs. We teach, we do research, and we do industrial consultancy. What it means is that Irene knows that the first 2 weeks in October, she will be teaching the introductory module in C++. So she will not have time to do anything else. But week 3, she will be able to do other things. So it's a very efficient way of managing our time, instead of saying, I'm busy on Mondays after 11 o'clock and on Tuesdays after 2 and on Thursday mornings. No, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Okay. Very efficient time management. Okay, any other questions about anything at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Classes are in a big group, or there are some little groups for...
Class size depends on the modules. So that module in C++, there will be students from 3 different programs attending that course. The average size of a Cranfield group is about 20 to 25. But for larger groups like that, you may have as many as 50 students in the group.
Okay. And there are exercises?
Oh, yes.
Or is
You mean
just-
TP?
Yes.
Of course, yes. So there will be full frontal lectures, but there will also be case studies and assignments, group projects, where you will be asked to work with 2 or 3 people to prepare your own presentation later in the week. And that's why the library is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay. And you can book group project rooms in the library and in other locations on the campus. Okay. Next. Yeah.
About the campus, actually. Can we have a room in the campus?
Right. Thank you very much. Accommodation. There is lots of information on the website about accommodation. You can go on a virtual tour of the campus. There are more than 1,000 individual study bedrooms on the campus. And there are different, some of the accommodation, the most surprise, the most expensive accommodation is the newest, individual study bedrooms with private bathrooms. That's been built in the last few years. Some of the older accommodation, there will be 6 individual study bedrooms and the students will share a kitchen and dining area, bathrooms, etc. But all of that information is on the is on the website. Please look.
It's the same website as...
Yes, you just go to cranfield.ac.uk and you can see it on the home page. Study, and then there's a whole section entitled Life at Cranfield where you can go on the campus tour, but also you can look at the sports facilities, which are very good, and everything to do with the campus. Okay. Yeah.
What happens in case you fail in an exam?
You don't fail, or we kill you. Okay, that's a very useful question. I think you were, when the start of my presentation, I talked about the criteria for selection. The number one criterion is that you should be recommended by your school here. The reason for that is that we have to be very careful about who we accept for double degree programs. Because if things go wrong, it's not a double degree, it's a double difficulty. Because if you are in academic difficulty at Cranfield, your Cranfield Master of Science will not then be validated for the award of your INSA Rouen Diplôme d'Ingénieur. And the worst case scenario would be that you would need to you would be unsuccessful in your Cranfield studies and you would need to come back to Rouen the following year to do the final year of the cycle ingénieur. We don't want that, INSA Rouen doesn't want that, and you don't want that. So our strategy in terms of recruitment of double degree students is we want to be sure that you are a strong candidate and our double degree students do well. If there is any doubt, the answer is no. Of course, every year things go wrong. And I would say on average, in the current year there are 279. I think last year there were 3 students who had academic difficulties of one sort or another. This happens every year in January. At least one student will come back in January in a wheelchair parce que je me suis cassé la jambe en faisant du ski avec mes amis. Right? That happens every year, right? I am against les sports d'hiver. It interrupts the teaching timetable. What happens in those circumstances, if we have to make special arrangements because someone has been ill, someone has had an accident, something has happened, of course we make special arrangements. But we do not have the system of rattrapage. We expect you to do things once. If something goes wrong, then we will have to do what is necessary. But the pass mark, the overall pass mark is 50%. 50% for us means good. You must pass the individual research project, and you need an average of 50% for the modular program and the group projects. What that means is that if you get 45% in module 3 and 55% in module 4, your moyenne is okay. Right? Things start to get worrying if a student scores below 40% in anything. We try very hard to make sure that that doesn't happen. Sometimes it does. And on some very rare occasions, a student will be asked to come back and do something again. But that, for double degree students, that is almost unheard of, because you have been filtered again and again and again. Did you do prépa before coming here? Or prépa intégré? Yes. So you were filtered by your prépa. You are now in the second year of the cycle ingénieur? Okay, so you have been filtered to get this far. In order to be eligible to come to Cranfield, you will be filtered again. You will have been filtered and filtered and filtered to ensure that you are a good student. I have very dear friends. I'm going to teach you something that you probably don't know. Do you know what the difference is between Scotch whisky and Irish whisky?
No.
Irish whisky has an E, right? Scotch whisky does not. But Irish whisky is filtered 3 times. Scotch whisky is usually only filtered twice. Cranfield students are filtered at least 4 times. Pure malt. Think about it. Okay, thank you for your question. Anybody else? Yeah.
For the PhD programs,
Would you like to register this week or next?
after I can do.
You are interested in a PhD. Very good question. Thank you very much. All academic institutions are interested in good students. Every year there are fully funded industrial sponsored PhD studentships at Cranfield in all areas. And my course director colleagues are constantly looking at the students in their groups for potential PhD studentships when they finish the MSc. It happens every year. Be good. Be very good. Okay.
That's good, very good.
Anything else?
Just can you show us where can you see all the information for the accommodation, please?
Just go to the homepage on the website. Very simple. Go to the homepage and you will see all of the titles that we looked at. It's very easy. Okay, anything else? Right, in these circumstances, I normally count to 10, and before I get to 10, there is another question. No, I've gone past 10.
No, okay. It was 15. Actually, I was for the limit date, but I think this would be.
That's an internal issue.
Yes.
Sophie, would you like to tell them about your calendar?
15 janvier, non?
Le 15 janvier, il faut avoir complété le formulaire qui est en ligne, toute l'information sur la procédure de candidature et Google. Vous allez dans le cours Direction des relations internationales, acte de candidature 2019-2020, et vous avez toute la procédure de candidature, les justificatifs, enfin, etc. Tout est indiqué sur la page. Et pour plus d'informations, vous pouvez contacter Anya qui peut vous réexpliquer tout ça, mais très honnêtement, c'est assez bien décrit sur YouTube.
Juste une question, si on veut y aller en 5e année, mais qu'on est en 3e année, on doit attendre l'année prochaine avant.
Tout à fait. L'acte de candidature à compléter pour le 15 janvier 2019, c'est pour faire une mobilité en 2019-2020. Si vous faites votre mobilité en 2020-2021, il faudra attendre l'année prochaine.
Ça se passe du coup pour le stage ingénieur, on n'aura pas ça si on fait le diplôme?
Si tu fais après.
C'est ça.
Stage ingénieur, c'est le projet de recherche qui remplace le stage ingénieur.
Ça remplace le stage ingénieur. Donc on fait les stages, du coup moi je suis en ASI, donc c'est le stage, enfin de spécialité. Et puis donc, du coup après on part directement dans...
De toute façon, le master de calcul, c'est uniquement en 5e année. Lors de votre 5e année. Et le projet remplace le stage ingénieur.
Et donc du coup on fait la
En fait,
demande...
vous partez, faites 1 an, je crois que c'est 200 crédits à Cranfield, équivalent à 60 ECTS pour l'année.
You're quite right. The Cranfield system, the Cranfield credit system is 200, and it's 1 credit for every 10 hours study. So it is a lot more than the standard European Union 60 ECTS here. Absolutely.
D'autres questions? Donc une fois que vous aurez fait votre dossier en ligne avant le 15 janvier, pour ceux qui veulent partir en 5e année en 2019-2020, ensuite il y aura des jurys et on sélectionnera, le directeur de département vont sélectionner les étudiants qui sont autorisés à partir. Et donc après, voilà. Donc à savoir qu'il y aura une bourse pour les départements EP et MECA, une demi-bourse pour ASI Et voilà. Et les autres, par contre, devront, s'ils choisissent toujours d'aller à Cranfield, devront financer leurs études.
Okay, the gentleman over there was asking about the website. This is easy. Look, if you look at the home screen, studying at Cranfield on the right-hand side, the first column thing there is accommodation, right? And immediately after that you have, immediately after that you have virtual tour. There you go, virtual tour. And you will have people watch the welcome video.
There's an airfield near the university.
The university is an airport. If you look here, right, this is the airfield, right? The origins of Cranfield in the Second War, Cranfield was a research and development for the Royal Air Force. And I'm sorry, you need to project your voice.
For the Spitfire.
No, for all the Royal Air Force. Spitfire was just one fighter plane. Fighter planes, bombers, etc. So after the war, the British government decided that it wanted to continue to invest in aerospace research and created the Cranfield College of Aeronautics. And that's the origin of Cranfield in 1947. Since then, from aerospace, we expanded from aerospace into mechanical engineering, of course, industrial and manufacturing science, and meanwhile, 20 kilometers away was the National College of Agricultural Engineering for the Environment and Water, and they were all brought together, and there we all are. And the very large building that you see where the aeroplane is? On the tarmac there. British Airways gave Cranfield a Boeing 737. Yes. What would you do if I gave you a Boeing 737? Give it to Cranfield. It's used for aerospace research. And the building, the rectangular building nearest the runway, that is the Rolls-Royce Airbus Cranfield Research Centre. So it's an interesting place. So please have a look at the video. I'll show you. Can I show you my office is just about there, right? Okay. So if you have any questions, please talk to Sophie and colleagues in the international office. And if there is anything that you can't answer, Sophie, you know my email address. Okay. Thank you very much for coming to listen, and I hope I have given you de quoi réfléchir. Okay. Oh, sous les applaudissements de la foule, vous avez entendu, c'est moi. Thank you very much indeed.